These videos are all over the internet.
This is what $37,000 gets you in China, and I promise you are not ready.
On YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, American car influencers are hawking Chinese car brands.
If you're a rich mom in China, you're probably driving this. This is the Yangwang U8.
They're touting luxury features,
Everything massages you.
state-of-the-art tech,
Hey, I'm astonished.
and most importantly, low prices.
All of this for $15,000.
But inflation-weary Americans watching these videos can't import the cars. Let's go back a bit. For decades, the global auto industry was really ruled by basically the US, Europe, Japan, and Korea. Then China decided to get into the car business. The Chinese government forced Western automakers or non-Chinese automakers to form joint ventures with state-owned Chinese companies. At first, they weren't very good at it because they were still new. At some point, Chinese automakers realized they were never going to beat them at gas cars, so they decided to play a different game. And the Chinese government created a national goal to develop electric vehicle technology.
我们想做的是真正从底层逻辑上改变大家对新能源车的看法。
And a lot of Chinese entrepreneurs answered that call, like BYD, which started out as a battery company and then got into automotive. You also have Geely, where the founder Li Shufu started making parts for refrigerators. Xiaomi, they're a cell phone company that has now gotten into cars because cars are becoming really software driven.
Today we're at the headquarters of Caresoft Global at our new technical center. We have many vehicles that we have disassembled and done value analysis. We've done benchmarking work on. Here we have a Tesla Model Y, and it demonstrates their usage of mega castings. In doing that, they're able to reduce the mass, reduce the number of parts, reduce the labor and the time it takes to build the vehicle. So very innovative approach. Now we see from China the Xiaoping G6. They've come forward with a very nice vehicle, and if you look close, you find there is a mega casting in the rear. There is a mega casting in the front. There is no floor in the body. It's very, very similar. It's been imitated here. However, if you look closely and study it, you realize they've been improved upon. And we see that across the Chinese auto industry, brand by brand. This drive to imitate, to improve, to increase, and to do it very, very quickly. And we're reminded, it's not the big that eats the small. It's the fast that eat the slow. So when you look at the speed of the Chinese auto industry, I think the traditional OEMs, those from North America, those from Europe, they get it, they understand. This cannot be left unchecked.
Car companies in the United States definitely need to worry about Chinese cars, and they are worried about Chinese cars. Even though it's basically impossible to sell them in the United States today,
the reason is a combination of tariffs and regulation that's linked to national security. In 2024, under President Biden, the United States introduced a 100% tariff on Chinese EV exports. In addition to that, in early 2025, a new rule was introduced, which essentially banned the sale and import of vehicles containing technology linked to China. This in practice makes it very, very difficult for Chinese companies to import into the United States.
Even though the US has these policies in place to keep Chinese cars out, they're growing almost everywhere else in the world. They have a lot of market share in Mexico, they're growing in Brazil, they're taking over Europe, they're big in Southeast Asia. Think of it as a global pie that's a finite size. And so when the Chinese come in and take share, that means another automaker like Toyota or Ford or Volkswagen is losing share. Just like we're seeing the growth of physical EV exports from China, viewers in the US on social media are also seeing them more. Last December, YouTuber Marquez Brownlee posted a review of the Xiaomi SU7, and he was really impressed with it.
There is basically no question in my mind that if a car like this was available in the US for $42,000, that it would crush.
The review went viral with over 10 million views. It really woke Americans up to just how sophisticated Chinese cars have become. China's entry into the global auto market is very controversial because it's threatening the future of a lot of existing companies. There's really dueling narratives about what's going on. If you talk to people in the US or in the West, they'll say that China is not playing fair, that they're getting support from the government. But one thing I noticed on TikTok is that there's a really different narrative there. And what you see is that the story is more it's the US who's being unfair and hypocritical by not letting American people buy them.
While lurking on Red Note, I found out about this car. We can't sell this car because it's Chinese.
I think when people on social media see Chinese cars, not only are they so impressed with the technology and the price, they're also really mad because cars have become really unaffordable in the United States. The average new car price in the US is around $50,000. That's just out of reach for more and more people, especially now with inflation and high interest rates. Everyone talks about how quickly China is moving. They can design, develop, and produce a new car in 18 months versus 3 to 5 years for a Western car company. And that brings up questions of quality and reliability, but the truth is we don't know yet because EVs are still a relatively new technology. Even though there may be some questions in consumers' minds, that doesn't mean that the legacy automakers aren't looking to China to learn how to make cars like they do.
What you're seeing right now is actually a lot of big European automakers engaging with Chinese technology very openly. US companies have been very hesitant and it's been very difficult for them to do the same. So it's a really difficult balance to get right. I think the future of the US automotive industry really hinges on the question of whether or not there's going to be more openness to Chinese technology. It might mean more openness to maybe licensing some Chinese technologies. These kinds of arrangements, if done carefully, could be a real boon for the US industry. It could allow for more innovation.
Even though the US has been successful so far in keeping Chinese cars physically out of the country, they can't control what people see or what people think. The Chinese cars are very hard to resist for a lot of people, and I think that puts pressure not just on US politicians, but also the rest of the auto industry to have more affordable cars that are as good as the Chinese, or else people are just eventually going to vote with their wallets.